What made your sweet grandma snap in front of the entire family? Everyone in my family knew Grandma Betty was the birthday queen. She remembered every single person's birthday, made homemade cards that took her hours to decorate, and always gave the most thoughtful gifts. She once gave my cousin a rare comic book because she remembered him mentioning it once 2 years earlier. But this year was different. It was her 80th birthday, and the whole family promised to throw her the biggest party ever. My Aunt Carol took charge of planning everything. She kept saying how she booked this fancy restaurant downtown, told everyone the date was circled on their calendars, and promised Grandma it would be perfect. Nothing too crazy, Grandma kept saying with that sweet smile. I just want my family there with me. The morning of her birthday, Grandma got up early and put on her best dress, the blue one with flowers that she only wore to church on Easter. She even put on lipstick for the first time in months and kept checking herself in the hallway mirror. She sat by the front window with her purse in her lap, waiting for someone to pick her up. Nobody came. After sitting there for over an hour, she called Carol, straight to voicemail. She tried my Uncle Dave next. No answer. Then my cousin Mike. He picked up but just mumbled something about being swamped at work and hung up real quick. Finally, she called an Uber and gave the driver the restaurant address Carol had told her about. When she got there, the place was completely empty. The hostess looked confused when Grandma asked about the reservation. There was nothing. No party, no family, no celebration. Just my 80-year-old grandma standing alone in her fancy dress holding a small gift bag she'd brought for the kids. She rode the Uber home in complete silence and cried herself to sleep. The next day was our regular Sunday dinner at Carol's house. Everyone showed up like always, passing around the mashed potatoes, arguing about football, kids running around screaming. Nobody mentioned Grandma's birthday. Not once. They all acted like absolutely nothing had happened. That's when Grandma quietly stood up from the dinner table and looked around the room. So nobody's gonna say sorry? She asked in this really calm voice that made everyone freeze. Carol rolled her eyes and kept eating. Mom, come on. We're all adults here. We don't need to make huge productions out of birthdays anymore. You're not 6 years old. Grandma just stared at her for the longest time. Then she walked into the kitchen, opened the trash can, and dumped the gift bag she'd brought for Carol's daughter, her great-granddaughter, right into the garbage. Everyone gasped. What the hell are you doing? Carol shouted, jumping up from her chair. Grandma turned around with this expression I'd never seen before, cold as ice. If being part of this family means only mattering when you're useful to everyone else, then I'm done being useful. Then she pointed right at my Uncle Dave. You never called me once after your surgery last month. I sent soup to your house 3 times, made you get well cards, prayed for you every night, but not one thank you call. She looked at my cousin Mike next. I babysat your kids every weekend for 2 years straight so you could work overtime. Never missed once, even when I had the flu. Her voice got louder. I helped raise half the people sitting at this table. I loaned money I couldn't afford to give. I was there for every scraped knee, every broken heart, every time any of you needed anything. Everyone just sat there in shock as she kept going. And not one of you could spare 2 hours out of your entire life to celebrate me turning 80. One time. That's all I wanted. Then Grandma reached into her purse and pulled out a stack of envelopes. Legal-looking ones with everyone's names written on them. These are copies of my new will, she said, setting them on the table. The lawyer's office will be sending you the official versions next week. Don't bother calling me to discuss it. Carol's face went white. Mom, you can't be serious. You had your chance yesterday, Grandma said. Then she walked to the front door, grabbed her coat, and left without saying another word. That was 6 months ago. Nobody's seen Grandma at Sunday dinner since. Carol's been calling her every day, but Grandma changed her number.